All right, so let me finish up the last video with this because I really wanted to talk about this, but then my husband called and he's trying to figure out his stuff, whatever. Okay, but yeah, reproducing children. I mean, not reproducing your own cells is one thing, right? Because you're keeping yourself alive. You're keeping your systems going, and you're also regenerating, replacing, upgrading, adapting, okay? But when you're reproducing children, when you are actually losing your life force. When men want to go and release their demons from their member, they're losing their life force. And so how can I prove that? Because when you think about the lifespan of an octopus, the lifespan of an octopus is like 3 to 5 years. And guess how many eggs? Guess how many eggs a female octopus produces? She produces 200,000 fucking eggs. Now, they're saying not all of them turn into an octopus. But that's a lot of proteins that you are developing and releasing. Okay? And at the last stages of an octopus's life, and they're releasing all these eggs, when you think about it, and then some of them do turn into octopi, which carries on that rate or carries on that species. But then when you think about humans, when we're constantly having to develop eggs all the time, why is that? Because it's based upon the environment. Now, when the environment is aggressive, okay, this is where I have to realize, oh yeah, that's right. I gotta think about this. Okay, I haven't had my period at all lately for the last couple months. Well, maybe for the last month and a half, maybe. It just feels like it's been a while. Why am I not dropping eggs right now and ovulating or whatever right now? Well, I mean, because I haven't been exposed. I haven't been dealing with a new situation. I haven't been dealing with a predisposed issue or exposed to an aggressive frequency causing me to shift and mutate type of thing. But I noticed that after my last co-infection, I had my period right after that. Like, not soon after I had my period, I was dropping eggs. Okay. And so anything about, and the thing about fertility in our society is based upon injury, right? Based upon a mutation, based upon alteration in the environment that's so aggressive. But, there's alterations in my environment, like going from cold to hot. But what is causing then fertility? Well, there could be things inside of me. Remember, the whole JJ world is about releasing the demons and releasing that kind of stuff. And when you finally release those demons and you are now a whole person, and whatever you get exposed to that's foreign, like, other people or even, your husband or wife or whatever, then your body produces new proteins that develop into an egg that's looking to be fertilized. Okay? But if your body has a good defense system and it doesn't allow those things to penetrate your body's whatever, and your body sees that it's not going to die anytime soon, then it wouldn't trigger the reproductive process. I guess, when you think about mitosis and meiosis are very separate things. There's still reproduction. Mitosis, in fact, there's like infection, mitosis, and meiosis. Well, no, there's mitosis, infection, and meiosis. Oh, I got to write that down. Holy crap. I'm telling you, man. So mitosis, infection, and then meiosis. Meiosis is the last straw. Meiosis is the last, that's what humans have been predicated upon, is meiosis. And so, okay, let me write this. Let me put this as a main takeaway. Okay. So it's mitosis, infection, then meiosis. Hold on. Mitosis, infection, meiosis. Okay. Mitosis, infection, meiosis. All right. So reproduction is mitosis, infection, meiosis. Mitosis is you keep living and developing and regenerating, like an immortal jellyfish, like an immortal Hydra. Okay? Infection is injury, and injury and diagnosable conditions. And then meiosis is, well, since you as the prototype are not going to be around, it now has to carry on that species race, which is you. You are your own race, right? So meiosis is dropping eggs and sperm to carry on that species race or genetic line. Okay? And so, yeah, so that makes sense. And so when you're having children, when you're getting pregnant and having children, people think, oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, I guess. But it's a sign that you are not going to live a long time. Okay? Because unless you're willing to go through the pains of regenerating whatever you lost from having that baby. But that's the reason why you have that baby, is because you had a diagnosable condition or you had an injury. And so when you actually when meiosis is happening, is because mitosis is not in the future and you have infection somewhere and you have diagnosable conditions. But like, oh no, people who are, how many, let me tell you, everyone that is pregnant right now or have been pregnant, they have a diagnosable condition. Just because it's not diagnosed at that time doesn't mean they don't have it. When you look at the blood groupings and you look at what they hold inside, the antigen-antibody programming, okay, and then all the stuff, all the antigen-antibody programming, even in blood type O's that are negatives, they have that inside their body, trapped in their body, causing fertility. So when you release all of the antigen-antibody programming and you have a tremendous, excellent defense system, okay, then yeah, it will take a huge shift in the atmosphere, a huge shift, plus a really aggressive virus that you catch somehow penetrates your defense system that will then cause an infection, a diagnosable condition. And then you'll come back from that. You'll just feed it and whatever, and then release the demons. But then during that time of that infection, of that whatever, that alteration, that mutation, you could be fertile. You could be actually dropping a baby. You could, get pregnant. And so it makes sense that, well, yeah, when I had that co-infection, I got pregnant. Not pregnant, I'm sorry. I got my period, which could have turned into pregnancy. But no, it just blood, and that was it. It was gone. So yeah. So that's the thing. So here's the thing, getting pregnant in this society with everyone getting injured, diagnosable conditions, taking antibiotics, pregnancy is not a difficult thing. Anybody can get pregnant for the most part if they have all the plumbing and they don't have too many issues in their reproductive area. But pregnancy is a sign that there is some shit going on inside the body. And so, yeah, having children will shorten your lifespan. Now, can you have children and bring yourself back up to be whole again? Well, when you get to the point of where you're pregnant and you're bearing a baby, that's a lot to come back from. That's a lot of potential diseases in your body that have to come to surface. that have to be dealt with when you get to the point of actually getting pregnant and having a child and carrying that child to term. See, when you say carry that child to term, what does that mean? What does term mean? When you're terminal, that means death. Yeah. When you carry a child to term, that is implying that the parent is terminal. The parent's going to die because that child now is a representation of who both the parents are. When you carry that child to term, it's not the death of a child, it's the death of you. That's what's crazy. And so, no, that's why, no. So having children, not going to happen for me. If you're longing to have a child, yeah. And that's the thing is that when you're longing to have a child, what is it about you that's not enough? What is it about your life that's not enough that you have to bring a child into this world? That's the issue that people have to question to themselves. Why do you want a child? I got to write that down. If you are longing to have a child, what is it about you and your life that is not enough? Because for you to have a child, it means you must break down. You must have something going on within you. And that is that right there should tell you everything about people. When someone is super sexual and when somebody wants to have a child, they have some stuff going on inside of them that even if they never get it diagnosed, they have some shit going on inside of them. Because what is it about their life that is not enough? They have to bring in something else. See, we've been programmed by the system to breed. And now we're seeing what happens when you're breeding so much and we're not guiding that reproduction carefully. We're getting a lot of crazy things in our environment, in our society. And we have people suffering. We have people fucking suffering left and right. Because we brought so much life into this world and we don't know how to deal with it. We don't know how to manage it. And you bring in so much life into this world, even into your household, and you don't know how to manage it. That's where society breaks down. And so then when you look at the octopus who is dropping 200,000 eggs and their lifespan is 3 to 5 years. Can you imagine how many eggs a person in their lifetime of between 1 and 100, how many eggs they drop, and how many children they drop, or how many miscarriages they experience? Now you see, we're not that different than the animal world. That there is the whole thing with biology, microbiology, and how they're fusing and taking gifts and characteristics from animals out there that are kind of like us, like the Hydra. I mean, they're self-generating, parthenogenic on some level, but then the octopus is very intelligent, and they have a male and a female. One has sperm and one has, drops the eggs. And they're not alien when you think about it. They're actually just like us. We hold little tiny octopi in our body called Hydra that are intelligent, that are also self-replicating, that also metastasize in your colon, in your arteries and capillaries, that also have a bunch of fucking kids. And then when it senses that there is danger that the host is going to fucking die, they go and develop another child in the body to go, and that's what it is. Holy shit. That's how the Hydra ensure. Oh, that makes sense. When they sense the mother or the father, when they sense the host is going to die, and they sense that, senescence, then they develop a reproductive system where they develop the host and another, like a male, to go and come together, develop a baby inside, and then a Hydra that realize that their environment is not going to be around too much longer. They then go and inhabit that child. And that child will then deal with, and that's how the human race, and that's how the Hydra keep the host going. That's how the Hydra ensure their existence, is they make sure the host keeps reproducing. And so every time you have a child, it's because that child represents that, yeah, you know, the parents are going to be terminal. The parents are not going to be around anymore. And so, yeah, the Hydra are then going to go and inhabit that child, which will have its own issues and break down and then be reproducing again to ensure that that Hydra has an environment, has an ecosystem that will be around, and then it'll make sure that the parents take care, well, some, you know, all the time, not all parents take care of their kids, but somebody in society will take care of that small child. You see it all over. The kids are being left different places, and somebody, you know, happens to pick up that child and take it to the police station or whatever. Okay? So, I can write that down. Since the Hydra and the tardigrades depend on the host for its house food supply, if it senses imminent destruction, it could be like 20, 30 years. Imminent destruction, like dying at some point, the Hydra tardigrades will encourage reproduction and develop another host for the Hydra viruses, tardigrades, to inhabit, ensuring its own survival. And that's how the microbial world stays alive, is they make sure that the host will keep carrying on and keep reproducing. If the host cannot keep the body alive and keep lengthening the telomeres and whatever, then the host is then going to be driven by the things inside of it causing reproduction and the baby, and that baby will then be inhabited by the tardigrades and the Hydra that are wanting to survive because they sense the host is going to fucking die. That's, see, it's humans, humans think that, okay, you know, it's natural, yes, to have children, to carry on the human race, but there's another reasoning behind that. There's something else that also depends upon you, that if you are gone, what's it going to survive on? It has to find another fucking host. It has to find another fucking host. So where's, well, first, yeah, it can jump from another person, yes, but no, it's also that genetic host needs to make sure that there's a baby or have the means to reproduce. So it ensures that another host is going to give it life and keep and give their children life. I mean, oh my gosh. The microbial world wants to live as well. The microbial world wants to ensure its own survival. And if you are a host to, you know, Hydra viruses, parasites, protozoa, proteins, fungus, and bacteria, yeah, you either have, what is it, reproduction like mitosis, you keep living and developing and regenerating, or you have infection, injury, and diagnosable conditions, and then from that infection, right, then you have meiosis, then you have fertility, a kid, and that kid could end up to being whatever. It's a crapshoot how these kids are turning out because they're not being guided carefully. They're not being developed. You know, and matured carefully and completely. They're being exploited, maybe by their parents and also by the system. And so this is why we have the frequencies. Frequencies are leveling the playing field. And so we got to start over again at some point. But we're watching now the dominoes fall. We're watching everything that we've ever done come back and bite us in the fucking ass. And it's painful. Hey, sugar. Okay. Hi, Shuggy. I know. So I know when I look at my dog and I, whatever, I know that I'm also talking to all of her Hydra and tardigrades, and I know, and so it's not just my dog Sugar. She has a whole community of organisms that are trying to keep her alive and keep me catering to her. And I get it. I am catering to my dog. I cater to my husband. My husband caters to me. My dog, well, I don't know if she caters to me, but she gives me a sense of something. And so, so she's like parasitic, but not in a bad way. She has done a great job as being a dog the last couple of years. And when she does senses danger, she barks, lets me know, but we haven't had danger because it's been kind of really quiet lately. Not that I've been dangerous before, but, she hasn't really barked at anything yet because nothing has really come to the house. So that's a good thing. But yeah. And so I could see now why fertility happens, because the Hydra and the tardigrades want to ensure that they have another host, that they can develop a host without having to jump and go and conform. See, that's the thing. When a tardigrade or a Hydra jump from one host to another, like out there, they have to go and conform and go through a battle. Okay? So if the battle is bringing in a sperm, and having the battle come to them versus them going out to battle and go and try to fit into a new world like another person. Okay, it's easier to develop a host and an environment within the environment that you have. What do you call it? Upgrading, having a, and developing that. That's what's crazy. So yeah, I would rather just stay, like, for me, I would rather just stay in my skin than go back, then die in this skin and then try to compete for another life form in another time. And there's no guarantee that when I die, if I die, right, will my body go inhabit another, or my mind or whatever spirit go inhabit in something else, and who knows what, and go through that process of competing for a protein life form? No, so I just keep regenerating. But and those tardigrades, that how they stay alive is they make sure their environment, they have a continuous stream of environment. And then when that environment is no more, when that genetic line cannot reproduce a baby, but they die from preventable diseases, then that's when they have to leave the body and go battle it out to go and inhabit something else. And that's the allegory. That's exactly what's going on. That's the conflict in our society, is when people leave what they thought was going to be, the host, and the host isn't providing for them anymore. Then they go and find another host and find another host. And the battle of staying within the host, whatever it is what you're seeing. It's a bloody battle. It's a very bloody battle. And so what am I advocating in the JJ world? That you are the host and you take care of your community in your body efficiently, correctly. If you have to have a child, then it means your body is going downhill, because then you'll be taking fertility drugs. You'll have a diagnosable condition. You'll have to do something to cause the body to think that you are going to pass away, that you are terminal. Okay? And death can be beautiful. Just look at all the sirens in the Iliad and the Odyssey, when they're luring those sailors out in the ocean to the depths of the ocean, into the water, but the sailors are all mesmerized by the beauty of the sea nymphs, and so the sirens, the sea nymphs. So yeah, mothers out there, they have to look beautiful to lure the sailor into the depths of the ocean of their bed. Go and germinate a seed, and it's not always happily ever after. So now that the tardigrades and the Hydra in the mother's body, now have children, now have a new environment to go and live another 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Because they know that mother is terminal. They know that mother ain't going to be the last one. And that's the allegory behind the microbial world and mitosis, infection, and then meiosis. And it's not just, oh, humans. No, you're run by the freaking microbes out there. They are the backbone of your society. And that's what's freaking crazy. So yeah, having children, it's a sign that there's something really going on inside of you. And I knew that. I knew, but I didn't know how to explain it. Because I'm telling you, you get the pretty girls out there in their filmy outfits and all the love, love, love shit. And they're like, oh, having a baby is so beautiful and so wonderful. And you're seeing all over Facebook. You're seeing the perfect little families in their nice little outfits. But that's just programming. The parents are terminal. Well, no duh. Well, yeah. And I'm saying, you know what? We don't have to die from preventable diseases. You don't. And aging is a preventable disease. But when you're having children, it's hard to come back from having 2.5, 3 kids. When you're having no kids, you give yourself a chance to either stop your genetic line completely because you'll die, or having no kids that you stay alive and you become the best representation and you become the strongest prototype in your community. That's what is going on right now. It's either you're going to stop the genetic line and die because you can't handle the frequencies, or you're going to be so fucking strong in this environment. You're not going to want to have kids. You're not going to want to have all that shit. And you're going to do everything you can to survive what's going on. You will be the best prototype. And then one day when the frequencies calm down, because they will, I don't know how long in the future is going to happen, but they will calm down. The system, the New World Order will calm down the HARP and the CERN and all that stuff. Slow down the environment. And there's going to be peace, prosperity. You're going to have birds singing and all that shit. The storms are going to calm down. The seas are going to calm down. There's going to be, it's just not going to be as it is right now. Society is going to change in the future. But right now, we're not there. So at this point, I wouldn't have children. At this point, I would do everything you can to be the strongest prototype in your community. I would seriously work on that. If you already have kids, then you do everything you can to get them up. But I'm telling you, don't sacrifice yourself for your kids. Because if you don't stay alive, how the fuck are your kids going to stay alive? If you haven't taught them how to stay alive, how the hell are they going to be the ones to stay alive too? And so you have to be the strongest one in your family to be that representation. And let me tell you, the system and your family and friends are going to work against you. They're going to work against you trying to keep yourself alive and keep your kids alive and teach them a different way. That's why then you can't worry about your kids at some point, that you let the system worry about it, and then you know that they're going to be sacrificed, because how can you fight against the system and your kids that don't want to feel pain and don't want to do whatever? And so then you have to take care of yourself. And you're just going to have to let your kids figure it out. If they're not old enough to figure out, then you hope they survive all the therapies that they're going to be given in the medical and the holistic world. You better fucking hope they survive them. When they're old enough to make their own decisions and they can redirect. But if they're not strong enough to handle the therapies and the frequencies and the society, you tried your best. But now you have to stay alive. And if your kids are everything to you that keep you alive, then you don't have much going inside of you, that your kids are everything to you. Your kids are just an extension of what you wish you had or whatever. Yeah, kids are great. Kids turn into kids are like puppies. They're fun. They give you social capital. They give you everything that people are desiring that they don't have. But they also turn into adults. And you don't know what kind of adults they turn into. And so, people don't realize that, yeah, puppies turn into dogs. Kittens turn into cats. Children turn into humans, adult humans that can be really unpredictable if you don't get their programming straightened up. So having children isn't everything it's cracked up to be. it's fun and it's new and it's like great, but when you see what it's going to actually take to raise an actual balanced child, it's not as fun as great as it's all cracked up to be. All right? So just understand that people who reproduce have a lot of shit going on inside of them. And people who are sexual have a lot of shit going on inside of them. Just because your intention is not to have kids doesn't mean that your sexuality isn't an indicator of something else going on inside. And so there I level the whole playing field. I'm not taking up for any one person as far as sexual orientation. Nope. Now it's time for humans to be the best prototype. And if they can't, well, that's fine. All right, bye.